Well, David Dunn is a professor of international politics at the University of Birmingham. He joins us now from Birmingham itself. David, just briefly for our international audience, why is Super Tuesday so important and what should our audience be looking out for?
Well, Super Tuesday is the day when most states decide, and therefore really it wraps up the race. What we're looking at is just the last details that confirm Biden and Trump as candidates. Haley either drops out after Super Tuesday, or she will be defeated in 2 weeks' time, and therefore by Trump getting enough delegates to more than half delegates to assure his position. So it locks in effectively who the candidates are going to be. So barring any acts of God, illness or infirmity between now and November, given these two old candidates, we're looking at a Trump-Biden rematch come November. And now the general election will start in earnest. Billions of dollars will be spent on advertising, and they will lay out their platforms, and they'll start focusing exclusively on each other rather than on, in Trump's case, on Haley as his rival.
David, now world leaders, what do you think they will be watching out for?
Well, up until this point, a lot of world leaders have been hoping that it would be not necessarily either of these candidates. They've been saying that the prospect of Trump coming back is a distant possibility rather than a likelihood. Now they must confront the real prospect, given the poll leads, that Trump will be the next president of the United States and all that entails. Biden, again, someone who initially ran for office 3 years ago, saying that he would be a one-term president, is hanging on, and therefore we're faced with the prospect of a president who many people think is too old, or a president who many think is too radical in the platform that he will outline in terms of what that means for America's role in the world. So I think many audiences, many world leaders will look at this contest with concern.
America's place in the world. Are we at a point, David, of knowing just how many countries, who wants a Trump return or a Biden continuation?
Well, Mr. Putin famously said that he would like to see Biden. I think the opposite is absolutely true. And Putin, like so often, was not being truthful in his assessment of that. I think for many countries around the world, the choice of Biden would be a choice for continuity. With Trump back in the White House, and given what he's saying on the campaign trail, there will be a period of great instability, because Trump is talking about doing very radically different things. He's talking about a 10% import tax on everything imported into the United States from abroad, which would damage trading relationships and free trade. He's talking about gutting the national security establishment in the United States, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, and the like, which could actually hamper America's intelligence gathering and sharing capabilities. He's talking about being much more skeptical towards American allies in general, Ukraine in particular, but also NATO and indeed South Korea and even Japan. So there's a possibility of a much more radically different form of foreign policy being enacted by a second Trump administration, which would be a major change and a major source of instability. And many countries are concerned about that prospect.
David, finally, do you know just how much Israel's war on Gaza has affected the voting so far?
Well, we've seen in Michigan recently, which is a state which has a large Arab American and Muslim population, over 100,000 voters in the primary contest registering their protest against Biden. Michigan is one of 6 or 7 swing states that really decide the election. So that amount of people, if they stay at home or vote Trump next time round, that can make a material difference. We also know from opinion polls that many young people are very unsupportive of Biden's close aid and support to Israel. And for them, that may be an issue that turns them off supporting Biden. And if again, they stay home, that will benefit Trump. So Biden's coalition of supporters of young people, of ethnic minorities, is actually crumbling, and that's why we see a lead of Trump in the polls. And the difficulty over Gaza is a real problem for the Biden administration. Similarly, with regard to support for Ukraine, which is he's steadfast on, the opinion polls indicate that Americans in general are much less supportive of Ukraine than they were. And so those two major foreign policy crises are actually having a domestic political impact on Biden's support in response to the fact that Trump is putting forward this isolationist America First stance, which for sections of the electorate seems to be popular.
David, thank you so much. David Dunn from the University of Birmingham. Really appreciate your time and thoughts there. Thank you.